Hello and welcome to your Saturday morning chatty scent corner where we talk about what's new, what's coming, and what we really need to chat about. So today, guys, we are going to talk about more new fragrances because there are so many new fragrances being launched. Actually, a couple of them are already available, but the majority of them are still like in to be launched status. Some of them we don't even know the date. So today, of course, I'm going to share with you some fragrances, and I also have for you a couple of very interesting updates. Let's call them like the tea updates because really they are serving the tea. But in addition to that, I also want to share with you a not so pleasant experience that I'm having when trying to order fragrances from like overseas, like if I order from Harrods or Selfridges or anywhere that's outside of the US, I'm really having a lot of trouble. But before we jump right in, if this is your first time here, I'm Arahi and I'm your fragrance concierge because I'm totally committed to creating the best fragrance experience for you. I upload videos multiple times a week, and on this channel we love to talk about all types of fragrances. So if that sounds like the type of content that you're interested in and like a good plan, then please consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget, leave a comment. Let's go, fam. Okay, so let's start by talking about that not so pleasant experience that I told you I wanted to share with you because I'm really struggling. So I placed quite a large order about, I would say, 3 weeks ago. It was, to be exact, it was on the 22nd of April. And I placed it with Harrods, and I know that they shipped it out on the 25th. But guys, to date, I have not received my order, and I've been ordering from Harrods forever, and it's never taking this long. But there is something going on because, they did ship the order via DHL, and every time I track it, it's like there's no update, like there's no progress. But the thing is that it's not just happening with Harrods, it's also happening with other retailers. As long as they're overseas, like there's a struggle now to receive an order. So I don't know what that is all about. I'm also going to tell you, because I want you to know what's going on, that if you place an order from Harrods and or Selfridges, they are going to, if you live in the US, you are going to receive a taxes and duties. That has never existed before. We would pay a tax, but taxes and duties. And let me tell you, I'm not going to talk about amounts here, but it was quite hefty. It was to the tune of like, I would say maybe 15%, which was really, really interesting to me. So we are having quite a bit of struggle when placing orders, trying to receive them. And then I have written to Harrods a couple of times, and I'm telling you, this is unprecedented because their customer service team has always been perfect. But I don't know what is going on. If you try to call them via WhatsApp, like there's no answer. If I try to call them directly and just pay for the call myself, they're really not answering. And they're not replying to my emails. So, and that is unheard of coming from Harrods. But I don't know what is going on. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you so that if you are one of those fan members that orders from Harrods or Selfridges or anywhere overseas, any of those retailers, even if it's a discount retailer, be very careful because I have experienced, I could go down a list of retailers right now that I've experienced that problem with. So it is not about the specific retailer. Obviously, there's something more going on, if you know what I mean. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the updates. And these two are very, very interesting. So did you guys know that Prada just purchased Versace for a whopping $1.36 billion? And in the words of Prada, the aim of the deal is to revitalize the Versace brand as it has faced some financial challenges. Very, very interesting. I mean, honestly, guys, when I first heard about that, my first question, which I'm sure it's obvious to anybody, like Prada and Versace, because those two have very different aesthetics, right? Prada is almost to the point of being minimalist, very understated. It's not that they're conservative necessarily about their fashion items and also about their fragrances. It's not that they're conservative as in dated. No, it's that their aesthetic is more like not even clean. It's more like conservative modern. Let's put it that way, right? And yeah, definitely I see a bit of minimalist in the brand. And Versace is like on the totally different end of the spectrum. It's all about being bold and out there and unapologetic and just living your best life, just being you in all way, shape, or form. Like, but being you in a bold manner, right? Because with Prada, you're being you too. You're just being a bit more demure. But Versace is just totally out there. So I don't know how those two are going to get along. You imagine the initial meetings between those two companies? I would love to be a fly on the wall. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to let you know that because obviously there will be changes that we will see in the fragrances, in the fashion items. You know, there'll just be changes. So let's see. I'll just keep you all updated. Now, the next update that I have for you, this one really took me by surprise. I mean, the Prada one did also because of, you know, that disparity between them, but this one. Okay, so Francis Kurkdjian has a collaboration with Air France. I was not aware of this. I don't think that this just happened, but I at least was not aware of this at all. So they have a collaboration, and of course, what he did is he created a fragrance for Air France, and the name of the fragrance is AF001 or 001. I think it's AF001, which would be like Air France 001, like a flight number, right? But it's the name of the fragrance. Very, very interesting. And then the notes are jasmine, rose, mimosa, and musk. So yeah, and that is a fragrance that is like the flagship fragrance for Air France now. So I'm sure that it's a very lovely fragrance. If I ever find it in one of my travels in duty free or something, you know, I will pick it up. But, you know, just to have it, because that's very interesting. You know, now we have the perfumers collaborating with airlines. I'm telling you guys, remember the discussion we had last week? Everybody wants a piece of the pie. So yeah. Oh, I had to take a moment, guys. It is so hot in here. It's like approaching 90 degrees in Georgia today, at least in Atlanta it is. And it is so, so hot. And I have like the unit running and everything, but of course with all these lights, which is why I turned them down a little bit today. I hope it doesn't create an issue, but I turned them down a little bit because it's just way too hot in here. But anyway, let's keep going. All right, guys. So Goldfield and Banks has a new fragrance and it's called Pacific Rock Flower. And you guys may remember that there was another Pacific Rock. I don't know if this one is a flanker of that one, or is it just like yet another fragrance within a line that's now going to be Pacific? I don't know. But what I can tell you is that this fragrance has already been launched. I don't know. Let me just share with you the notes. So the top notes are sea salt, lemon, eucalyptus, and tea. In the heart, it has mimosa, peony, and tuberose. And at the base, it has sandalwood, cedar, patchouli, and moss. Now, those notes sound very interesting to me. I love a tea fragrance. We've had those discussions before. I love a tea fragrance, but I just don't know about the sea salt and the tea and then eucalyptus. There's quite a bit of florals. And then the patchouli. The patchouli and the moss scare me in combination with those other notes that I just told you, tea, eucalyptus, and sea salt. I don't know what to expect from that fragrance, and I think I'm just going to get myself a sample. I am interested though. I am very interested because I love the DNA of the Goldfield and Banks fragrance house. Their fragrances are typically beautiful, and it's not that they're simple, but like they don't overdo it. They're not too extra. You know, they're just very, very easy reach fragrances. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And this one sounds quite lovely. I just don't know what to expect from it. So I'm probably going to try and get myself a sample or a decant. You know, it's already launched, but there's nothing out there available yet. And yeah, I will keep you guys posted on that one. So if you see it one of these days on the channel, it's because I'm going to give you probably a first impression or something like that, because I am not going to blind buy this one. All right, guys. So the next update that I have for you is that Christian Louboutin, you guys know, and they're right there behind me. Christian Louboutin launched like a whole other line, right? Because initially they had different bottles and now they changed to a bottle where the cap looks like a stiletto. It's right behind me. I'm sure you guys have seen it, heard about it. Maybe you even picked up one of them already, but there's another one being launched, and this one is called Fetiche Le Santal. And of course, from the name Santal, I'm assuming that sandalwood is going to be a very dominant note in this fragrance. But let me tell you what the notes are, because it's not like there's many of them. Let me just read this to you. So they say, creamy sandalwood blends with milky fig tones to create an elegant, fluid addiction. So those are the only notes that I could find, right? So fig, milky fig notes, right? So milky fig notes and sandalwood. Now, the fact that they're saying milky fig notes, to me, almost makes me believe that this fragrance may be a bit lactonic. I'm just assuming. And of course, I love a good fig fragrance. And, sandalwood goes very well with fig. What I have no experience in is that milky accord that they're talking about. I don't know, guys. So this is definitely one that I'm going to try and go in store and get myself a sample, that I can try on skin a couple of times, unless I sniff the fragrance in store, apply it on skin, and it's just like, wow, it's an immediate, like crazy love, right? If that happens, I will definitely let you know, because I'll be showing up here on the channel and talking about it and showing you and just discussing it, right? But most likely what's going to happen is that I'm going to give you a first impression, because I'm going to give this fragrance a try. I mean, guys, with the amount of fragrances that have been launched already this year, I'm not going to keep just picking up fragrances based on what I think the fragrance is going to do on my skin, or how it's going to smell, or just because, I really, really love that perfumer, or I love the DNA of a certain fragrance house. No, those days are over. So now we're just going to start testing quite a number of these fragrances. I mean, I haven't been too bad this year. I haven't blind bought just everything. I really haven't. But I'm trying to get even better, because really it's just a lot. But this fragrance, honestly, guys, it does sound very, very nice. Very, very nice. I'm just concerned about the milky accord that they're mentioning. And they also use the word creamy. So I don't know. More to come. Let me know. Are you interested in that fragrance? What do you think that's going to be like? Just let me know. All right, guys. So the next update that I have for you is a Middle Eastern fragrance. And this one I am super excited about. I'm sure you've heard of this one if you're into Middle Eastern fragrances. So this one is from Armaf, and it's Club de Nuit Malika. So from the Club de Nuit line, guys, but this one is Malika, and look at that bottle. Like, isn't that just gorgeous? The bottle makes me just want to pick it up like right now. And yeah, most likely I am going to blind buy this one, because to get a sample is going to be pretty hard. As a matter of fact, guys, I actually already ordered it, and yeah, it should be here today. So expect to see a review very, very soon. But anyway, so the top notes of this one are lychee, pink pepper, and bergamot. At the heart, orris, and at the base, praline, sandalwood, and fam members, ambroxan. So if you're sensitive to ambroxan, or you think you may be sensitive to it, please, it's not worth it. Don't even bother with this fragrance. But I can tell you that I am loving these notes, because lychee and bergamot. So it's going to open fruity and maybe citrusy at the same time. And then it's going to also open probably fresh spicy, because there's pink pepper. The orris is going to come in and do its thing that it always does. And then you have the praline, which is going to give it a tad of nuttiness. In other words, guys, I just really don't know what to expect, but I'm still going to try this fragrance, right? Because yeah, typically Club de Nuit doesn't disappoint. I don't have them all in my collection. I did declutter, like I think it was like 3 of them. But this one sounds really, really interesting and quite different. So let's see what we get from it. And since we're on Middle Eastern, let's just continue with another Middle Eastern fragrance that, this one was I just started to see it. I think it was on Instagram, and it's from Fragrance World. And this one is called Eau de Soleil. Okay, now when I heard that name, I immediately thought of Tom Ford, right? Soleil Blanc. And I was thinking, could that be that fragrance? But I'm not even going to start with that, guys, until I receive the fragrance, because I am planning to order this one. Because listen to these notes. And no, I don't think this is Soleil Blanc. But at the top, we have pear and banana. At the heart, we have jasmine, sambac, and orchid. And at the base, we have vanilla and sandalwood. And in the words of Fragrance World, this fragrance is made for the days you glow different. So now they're bringing our glow into the mix, right? This is a fragrance that's going to make us glow in a different way, or assist in those days that we just glow in a different way. Very, very interesting, okay? Very, very interesting. But what I can tell you is that those notes really did grab a hold of me immediately, because pear and banana together, loving it, absolutely loving it. And then those florals, jasmine and orchid, I think were good. And then at the base, vanilla and sandalwood, so some creaminess, a bit sweet. I don't know, I'm just expecting a fruity, sweet, because, you know, all of the marketing around this fragrance is giving me like summer, but like summer fruity fragrance to the point of almost being gourmand. I don't know, there's just something about the way that the marketing materials, you know, they're depicting something that to me gives me gourmand fragrance, but I could be totally wrong. But I'm not picking it up just because it's gourmand. Honestly, guys, I'm picking it up because of the notes, because those notes are really interesting. And lately, Fragrance World and French Avenue, which are the same company, they have been really kicking it out of the ballpark, guys. So I'm very impressed. So I am going to pick up this one. So expect to see it here on the channel. Are you planning to pick that one up? Had you heard about it? What do you think about those notes? What do you think we're going to get there? Do you think it's going to be a good one? Anyway, moving on. All right, and now going back to niche, luxury Western niche, right? So Akro. Akro has another fragrance. Now, I may be totally wrong, but I know that in my investigations this year, I think I had already seen 1 or 2 fragrances that were launched by Akro this year. I could be totally wrong, but I think that the one that I saw that was launched in 2025 was Breathe. I mean, I could be totally wrong. It may have been at the end of 2024, but, or maybe, you know, anyway. There's a new fragrance, okay? There's yet another one, and this one is called Crush. Now, let me tell you what they have to say about Crush. So this is an extrait de parfum that explores the captivating tension between desire and indulgence. And this one is by master perfumer Olivier Cresp. So, and it's supposed to be a floral, fruity gourmand. And I have to tell you, I have obviously, you know, a couple of Akro fragrances, and I really do enjoy them. And I did order a discovery kit at some point, and I did not pick up any other because you know, it's not that I didn't like them, but I was a bit underwhelmed. But overall, I think that Akro does very, very nice fragrances that are kind of different, and they do give you quite an interesting olfactory journey. So I'm here for it. Now this one, I don't know. I think that I'm going to get myself a sample. I am not going to blind buy this one, but listen to the notes. So at the top we have almond and lychee. At the heart we have Bulgarian rose, and at the base we have vanilla and praline. I don't know, guys, we're basically getting like the same notes in so many fragrances. Have you noticed, like, you know, like one of them starts with a couple of notes. And in this case, for me, it's the almond and the praline. Like what is going on with the almond now? Like everybody's going to start doing almond fragrances with vanilla and praline. But anyway, I just really had to say that. But this fragrance does sound really interesting to me, but I am not going to blind buy it. I'm really not going to blind buy it. So I am going to get myself a sample as soon as I can find it somewhere. Had you heard of that fragrance? What do you think? Do you think that that fragrance may be a little bit like very recent launches from other fragrance houses? Not that they're going to be the same, but that they'll have like the same vibe with just minor differences in the accords, right? Like, I don't know. But let's see, moving on. Okay, so this next one, I am so excited about. I think that this one is going to be a blind buy. I am trying really hard to not pick up any niche fragrances as blind buys, but First of all, I own all the other fragrances in this series or in this collection, right, from this fragrance house. But this one, wait until I read you the notes. So I'm talking about the latest from Rosendo Mateu, and this one is number 9. Number 9, okay guys, number 9. So number 9 is focused, you know that like every single one of his fragrances starting like with number 1, at least from this collection, because he does have other fragrances, but like Rosendo Mateu number 1, number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, they have all focused, right, on specific notes. So let me tell you, this one focuses on wood, osmanthus, and vanilla. And by the way, this fragrance, this launch was shared with me by a fan member. I'll be sure to put her profile name right here. Thank you so much for sharing that with me. I'm really excited because the more research that I did on this one, the more I just know it's going to end up in my collection. But let me just tell you what the notes are, because that's what really, this one is so different than any of the others. Oh, and by the way, there's also, Rosendo Mateu number 5 is like the most popular. That's not my favorite, but I mean, I do love it, but it's not like my most loved within the numbers group. No. My favorite is number 7. But number 5 is exquisite. So now there's a Rosendo Mateu number 5 elixir. I am not going to be picking up that one because I'm not going to continue to pick up elixirs for every OG fragrance that I have in my collection. And lately it's become a thing, like they launch a fragrance and then very short thereafter there's an elixir. And no, I'm not going to do that. No, because there's so many other fragrances coming out that are on my wish list and I can't buy everything. So that one was an immediate, nope, I'm good. I will pass. But back to number 9. So the notes of number 9 at the top, guys, it opens with woodsy notes. Now, you know that Rosendo had to like be a bit extra and do something totally different, because typically we have those woodsy notes, really at the base of the fragrance to add depth to the fragrance, but I'm good. So at the top, we have woodsy notes, spices, sweet notes, and flowers. That's all at the top, okay? At the heart, we have osmanthus, tobacco, leather, and orris root. This is going to be a fragrance with a ton of character, and I am here for it. This is going to be like statement making if I had to take a guess, but I could be totally wrong. Then at the base, we have vanilla, bourbon whiskey, and musk. So I tried to find the fragrance already and I could not find it anywhere, like at any retailer. And of course, I just told you that I'm not going to be ordering any fragrances from any overseas retailer, because obviously there's something going on in shipping now, shipping to the US specifically, right? So, okay, I'm going to wait until it becomes available at a US retailer, but then I am definitely going to order that fragrance. I don't know if I'm even going to have the fortitude, the strength, right, to resist and just wait and get a sample or a decant, because I really want that fragrance. I just know the way he does leather, perfection. And then tobacco, and then bourbon whiskey, so it's going to be a tad boozy. Oof. I just have a feeling that this is going to be a really incredible fragrance, but I could be totally wrong. Please do not blind buy it on my account just because I said what I said. Let me try it. I will bring you the review and then you can make a decision. But please first try it. At least you can do that. Anyway, moving on. All right, so moving on, guys. Now we're moving on to the House of Ex Nihilo. Yes, you remember that Ex Nihilo launched a fragrance at the beginning of the year called Spiky Muse. I did get a sniff of it in store. I think it was in store, or someone sent me a sample. I don't know, but I know that it was a hard pass for me. It's not that I disliked it, but I just really didn't like it. Like, it just did nothing for me, which is rare for me to say about Ex Nihilo because their fragrances are just exceptional. Now this one. Now you remember when I told you a couple minutes ago when we're talking about Rosendo's fragrance, or the one before that, that what is going on? It's like one fragrance comes out with a couple of notes and then everybody starts launching fragrances with the same 2 notes. Well, in this one, guys, we have, again, the note of fig and pear and pink pepper. But let's talk about this, right? So this is a very interesting launch from Ex Nihilo because nobody was aware of this. Like, were you aware of this? Had you heard of this new fragrance called Generations? In addition to that, this bottle is totally different. Totally different. I'm not hating it or anything. I'm just stating the obvious. Now, let me tell you what the notes are. The notes are pear, pink pepper, and frankincense. At the heart, we have fig, which tells me that the fig is going to be very dominant in this fragrance. And at the base, we have sandalwood, musk, and tonka bean. Now, those notes all sound very, very nice. And coming from Ex Nihilo, I'm sure it's going to be a lovely fragrance, but I am not going to blind buy it. I am going to get myself a sample or a decant, preferably, so I can try it on skin. I don't know. There's nothing in these notes that really like sent an alert to me as far as the accords or notes that I appreciate in a fragrance. And again, I do love Ex Nihilo fragrances for the most part. But I'm not going to blind buy it because this is, it's pricey. And I'm not going to blind buy it. So I'm going to wait till there's a sample or a decant or someone offers to send me a sample or something, and I will try it on skin and then I will make my decision. But am I interested in this fragrance? Yes, I'm very interested in this fragrance because I love a fig note in a fragrance. And I'm pretty sure that I don't have a fig-centric fragrance from Ex Nihilo in my collection, or just a fig fragrance, period. So this is going to be pretty interesting. I'm really looking forward to this one. Had you heard of this one? Are you an Ex Nihilo fragrance house fan? If you've heard of this one, were you planning to pick it up or try it first? What do you think? What would you do? What would you do? Would you just go for it, or would you just wait for a sample? Anyway, guys, moving on. Now, don't you just love it when you just said something 2 minutes ago and then you have to take your words back? No, I did not, like, in between these 2 fragrances go and place an order, a blind order. No, that's not it. But this next one is from a fragrance house that I think is so underrated. I think I've had this fragrance house in every fragrances that should have been hyped, in every fragrance houses that are underrated, because I love them and I just don't understand why people just don't get it, right? The Merchant of Venice. Love them. The Merchant of Venice has a rose fragrance that is truly exceptional, but you have to be a serious rose fragrance lover because this one is unapologetic. It is rose intense. It's not like a demure rose or a smooth rose. No, this is like an in your face, I'm that rose. Yes, I am. That's that fragrance. And it's called Rosa Moceniga. Well, the Merchant of Venice is about to launch or just launched, I don't know, but I'm going to find out, an elixir for that fragrance. And I just told you that I am not going to be buying elixirs for every OG fragrance that I have in my collection, but I read about this and it's supposed to be an intense version of the OG, and it's supposed to emphasize the note of rose. I don't know how they could do that because the original already has a rose that's, like I told you, like in your face, like slap in your face kind of rose. But this one is supposed to be considerably more intense. So I'm pretty sure that I'm going to end up getting this fragrance. I apologize. I'm human. I'm human. I'm human. But I'm pretty sure that I'm going to end up picking up this fragrance because, and did you see the bottle? How can we not? Like, how can we not? Like, that's got to be in my collection of the Merchant of Venice. And I just absolutely love them. So expect to see that one at some point. You know, I may wait until the price goes down a little bit, but I don't know if I can because I really. So listen to the notes. At the top, it has blood orange, lemon, and pear. At the heart, it has Turkish rose, rose, and rose water. The trifecta. And then at the base, we have musk, amberwood, and Madagascar vanilla. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. That fragrance is going to be seriously special. Have you guys tried any fragrances from the Merchant of Venice? Have you heard me when I've talked about it? And have you understood? Please, just at least get yourself a sample of one. There's so many. There's like a flavor for just anything that you may be interested in, because they really have a pretty hefty portfolio of fragrances. Not like Mancera or anything like that, no. But they do have quite the number of fragrances. And I do have a dedicated video here, I'm pretty sure, where I reviewed it, where I talked about the fragrance house itself. You know, one of those fragrance house spotlight videos where I dedicated just to one fragrance house. So I'm pretty sure that I did the Merchant of Venice, and I shared with you my top picks at the time, which I should do an updated video because I've been busy, because I love them. I just absolutely love them. But anyway, guys, have you tried anything from the Merchant of Venice? Had you even heard about them? How does this fragrance sound to you? But don't worry, because at some point I am going to review it for you here on the channel. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to tell you before I close this video, I forgot to tell you that the perfumer behind that Rosa Moceniga elixir, guess who it is? Jordi Fernandez. Yes, guys, Jordi Fernandez. Jordi Fernandez, and you guys know how I've been feeling about him recently. He's really about to debunk a couple of the other perfumers that are at the top of my favorites list, because every time he puts out a fragrance, I am just right there. I am loving it. So for me, that is a no-brainer. Absolutely. I know that coming out of Jordi Fernandez, it's going to be a bold and more than in-your-face rose-centric fragrance, and I am here for it. So anyway, guys, that is all that I had for you today. I hope that this was enjoyable for you, and I hope that you have, like I always tell you, not just an incredibly blessed and awesome Saturday, but tomorrow is Mother's Day. So I want to send a special love and a special hug and a special warmth and positive energy to all of the moms here in the fam. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for hanging with me today. Have an incredible Saturday, a beautifully blessed and joyous weekend. And for the moms, happy Mother's Day. You deserve it. All right, guys. So thank you so much for hanging with me today, and I will see you all in the next video.